different petals, but aren't we all struck by the beauty and the...
If you are appointed to serve as the Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya, you will be serving in the executive. How will you ensure, that's my question, how will you ensure complementarity of those three arms of government and still uphold the separation of powers?
I will make it my personal business to ensure that the three arms work in harmony, so that they work interdependently, even as they continue to retain their independence.
The advocates' disciplinary tribunal is charged with the responsibility to hear cases of professional misconduct filed against advocates, investigated by the Advocates Complaint Commission. That commission is a division at the Office of the Attorney General and State Department of Justice. Justice Kiara, how do you see yourself contributing to improving this mechanism?
There are far too many advocates who are in breach of their professional ethics and code of conduct. That's where it begins. And with an increase in number of advocates, and with many of them perhaps being inadequately trained, as we have seen from what we'll be discussing later, the Council of Legal Education and the problems at the Kenya School of Law, there is need to look at the committee very, very closely.
How the Office of the Attorney General, if we are to be confirmed, would play its part in ensuring that in the medium term, the Agenda 4 blueprints are achieved of universal health care, cheap housing, manufacturing, and food security.
The Office of the Attorney General would look at whether our current legislation is adequate, whether we need to fine-tune it to bring it in conformity with that vision. That would require coordination between this august House, which is the legislative arm. It would also require coordination and dialogue with the judiciary, as well as the executive itself. Apart from the law, we would have to look at what devils or bedevils us most. The chambers of the Attorney General currently, we have several cases which are evident of incapacities of various natures, in personnel, in adequate training of that personnel, in even the basics of these tools that are required to enable them work. So I would build and enhance the capacity, both in terms of the bodies that are there, as well as their skills, so that the various services that are rendered by that office, the legal advice that is given to ministries, that is given to government, the coordination with the county government, that advice would be sound. That would reduce the number of cases or contracts which are badly handled, which have hitherto been part of the main reason why government has been losing so much money. I have been brought up in a tradition of the values and virtues of integrity, of courage, of honesty, and so on. My job as legal advisor is to be truthful. Whether or not that advice is accepted and taken is quite another thing. But I will not bend from what the Constitution and the law require me to do. Not for this position, not for any position.